Next on CTN News.
I, Jerry Cook.
I, Jerry Cook.
The new year brings big changes for the Coon Rapids City Council. We'll have details, plus the issue of rail safety front and center in Coon Rapids. More on a roundtable discussion attended by Governor Mark Dayton. But first,
I've heard that as many as 25% of people have some type of a criminal record, and so it could help a large number of people really move on.
a new law that could make it easier for some people to land new jobs. That tops CTN News this Friday, January 9th, 2015. Thanks for joining us. Thousands of Minnesotans could have a new opportunity for employment this year.
The new law took effect January 1st and allows a judge to expunge some criminal records from public view. That means past crimes that could hurt someone's job prospects would be hidden from the background check process. CTN's Joe Nelson has more.
It was like if you have a criminal record, you can't move on from it.
Although the job market has improved with a large majority of employers doing background checks on potential hires, people with criminal records still struggle to find employment, according to the Council on Crime and Justice. Anoka attorney Kelly Keegan has worked with many looking for a second chance.
People would call up and say they have this one-time offense or maybe even a couple offenses that happened quite some time ago, and they can't get a job, they can't get an apartment, they can't volunteer with their kids at their school. So there was a lot of ways in which this was holding people back.
Last year, the Minnesota legislature passed a bill to change that, giving people an opportunity to have criminal records sealed through expungement, keeping them out of public view. There are certain guidelines as to which records can be expunged and when. Low-level nonviolent felonies can be expunged 5 years after a sentence is completed. Gross misdemeanors can be sealed after 4 years and other misdemeanors after 2.
It's not automatic though. Judges have to still grant it, so there is some judicial discretion, but we've at least now given people the opportunity, if they can demonstrate rehabilitation, to move on and have a second chance.
People we talk to say they can see the law opening up opportunities for family members and friends who have made mistakes.
Just have a chance to get to work.
As long as you learn the lesson and you don't go out and start doing the things again, you should be given a second chance to at least live a life.
Any person who has looked at this process in the past and been discouraged should really take another look at it, because it is a complete overhaul of our expungement laws.
Keegan says it is still a process that can take months to complete, but that it opens the door to help more people than ever before while offering employers a larger pool of qualified candidates. Stephen Karen?
And just to clarify, it's not automatic. The person does have to start the process, and eventually it is signed off with the judge.
Yep, it has to be approved by a judge to work. So.
Great. Thank you, Joe. 2015 is bringing some big changes to the Coon Rapids City Council.
I, Jerry Cook.
I, Jerry Cook.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
That
Jerry Cook, who previously represented Ward 4, took over as mayor on Monday night. He took the oath of office with his family standing by his side. Cook was appointed to the council back in 2011 following the resignation of Joe Sidoti. He was elected to a 4-year term in 2012. Cook is married and has 4 sons and 1 daughter. He's worked in the real estate business for the past 26 years.
I, Wade Demmer.
I, Wade Demmer.
Do solemnly swear.
Do solemnly swear.
There's a new face representing Ward 3 on the Coon Rapids City Council. Wade Demmer was sworn into office Monday night. He also was sworn in Monday night, rather. He takes over the seat previously held by Paul Johnson. Demmer is married and has 2 young children. He's lived in Coon Rapids for 13 years and works as a medical device systems engineer for Medtronic. Brad Johnson has also been sworn into office as the new Ward 5 representative. He was out of state and unable to attend Monday night's meeting. Johnson replaces Bruce Sanders. He's lived in Coon Rapids for 7 years and has a wife and 2 children. Johnson is a prosecutor for the Hennepin County Attorney's Office.
The City Council is planning to appoint someone to fill the vacancy in Ward 4 now that Jerry Cook has taken over the mayor's seat. Those interested in serving can fill out an application form that's available on the city's website. The deadline to apply is January 16th. The council will then select qualified candidates to interview on January 27th. An appointment is expected to be made on February 3rd. The person selected will fill out the remainder of the Ward 4 term, which ends on December 31st, 2016.
The new council is bringing back an old tradition in Coon Rapids. Open mic is once again being included as part of the televised city council meeting. Back in 2007, the council at that time ended the practice of televising open mic due to legal concerns and personal attacks being made by certain people. Mayor Cook hopes the televised forum will be productive.
We're really looking for objective, helpful things. We're not looking for personal attacks. We're not looking for name calling. You'll be directing the council. You'll have a maximum of 3 minutes. And if the wheels are coming off, you will be declared out of order and the mic will be cut off.
Besides a 3-minute time limit, open mic has been moved from the beginning to the end of the city council meetings.
The new year is also bringing change to the Anoka County Board. A new member was sworn into office this week.
I, Mike Gamache,
I, Mike Gamache,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
Mike Gamache took the oath of office at the Anoka County Government Center on Tuesday morning. Gamache, the former mayor of Andover, was actually sworn in by the commissioner he's replacing, Carol Ledoux. He will represent District 5, which covers the eastern half of Coon Rapids and portions of Andover and Fridley. Commissioners Scott Schulte and Jim Kordiak were also sworn in to new 4-year terms.
In other news, a Coon Rapids squad car was struck on Highway 10 near the Highway 47 overpass during Tuesday morning's commute. Authorities say the officer was at the scene of a crash when a second vehicle lost control on the icy overpass and hit the squad. The officer, who was inside at the time, was taken to Mercy Hospital for evaluation but wasn't injured. Driving was also a challenge Thursday afternoon and evening after a fresh blanket of snow made icy roads even slicker. Several vehicles spun out in the eastbound lanes of Highway 10 near Creek Meadow Drive around 1:30. Fortunately, there were no serious injuries. The cold weather forced the cancellation of classes Wednesday for some students across the state, including those in Anoka-Hennepin School District 11. Officials made the decision to close the night before and say it was done for the safety of students and staff. Last January, Anoka-Hennepin closed schools a total of 5 days due to the extreme cold, including one day that was ordered by Governor Mark Dayton. Railroad traffic has increased dramatically in Coon Rapids and other neighboring cities in recent years.
Local public safety officials are concerned about emergency response times because the trains often block intersections, waiting for clearance into a nearby rail yard. Frustration over trains stopped on the tracks at railroad crossings brought Governor Mark Dayton to Coon Rapids late last month. The governor was joined by local city officials, legislators, and railroad officials in a roundtable discussion about railroad safety.
It's just really frustrating to hear that, people don't think they have any way to communicate what's not happening and get changes made to improve that. So that's something we really want to work with you on, and I think that can go part way to resolving some of these issues.
One idea is to build a parallel side track to handle staging between Big Lake and Becker. The governor says transportation will be the focus of this legislative session, and rail will be a major component of it, both in terms of safety and functionality.
Highway 10 will lose a traffic light next summer up in the city of Ramsey. Last month, the city of Ramsey hosted an appreciation event for all of the funding partners who helped to move the Highway 10 Armstrong Interchange project along. The $35 million project received support at the county, state, and federal levels.
Thanks to the governor and the state elected officials for their continued efforts to find funding, specifically bonding. Thank you to our federal delegation for their influence on securing federal grants, specifically Senator Klobuchar, and your influence with Secretary of Transportation Anthony Fox. Thank you to the city of Ramsey who planned this.
The Armstrong Interchange will be the first grade separated crossing over the BNSF railroad tracks. Construction on the project will start this summer.
Metro Transit launched its on-time guarantee for North Star commuter rail customers this month. Through the end of January, if any weekday North Star trip is more than 10 minutes late, you get a refund, no questions asked. But you do need to register online for the program. Refund checks will be mailed out in February. Metro Transit hopes to lure back customers who may have left due to frequent delays last year because of track maintenance, which has since wrapped up. Well, it's time for a quick break, but there's still much more ahead on CTN News.
Including the first baby born at Mercy Hospital in the new year, plus getting the new year started on the right note. Details on the 2015 Dessert and Coffee Concert Series.
The excitement was the hugs, the tears, the just excitement was overwhelming.
And a local homeless shelter for kids hits a big fundraising goal. More on what Hope for Youth plans to do with the money next. A homeless youth drop-in center in Anoka has reached its ambitious goal of $1 million.
And that was just in the nick of time. CTN's Bao Vang tells us who stepped up to fill the gap and what's next for the nonprofit Hope for Youth.
And I was packing my bag, a week before.
Hope for Youth fundraising chair John Zatars admits as his deadline approached to raise $1 million for the organization by the end of the year or sleep outside, he was stressed.
Or we were at about 894,000, and I was calling my financial team. I'm going, I don't know if we're going to do it.
A few days before, and checks and online donations boosted them over the $900,000 mark.
It was happening, but not as fast a pace as I wanted it to.
Then another news story ran, and last-minute donations came rolling in.
PayPal, we were getting, 15 to 20 hits every 2 minutes.
On New Year's Eve morning, the total was now at $961,000, but it wasn't long before Zatars would be unpacking his overnight bag.
My friends over at Connexus Energy, and they came in at 10:18 a.m. With a pledge of $50,000 over 2 years.
Volunteer Tyler Tong was there when Zatars broke the news.
There was just a high energy in the room and a lot of hope for what the $1 million can do for us in the future.
Hope for Youth is now forming a planning committee to talk with local city leaders and visit sites to buy or build a facility large enough to add beds in addition to a drop-in center. The plan is to have the building up and running this year to serve the hundreds of homeless youth in the area.
While Hope for Youth can now check off that it raised $1 million, they know the fundraising can't stop there because the need will be endless to keep open an overnight facility. In Anoka, Bao Vang, CTN News.
The latest numbers from the Anoka-Hennepin School District show 714 students are identified as homeless and another 154 are unaccompanied youth.
Well, the new year is off to a great start for a few lucky people who purchased raffle tickets from the Minnesota State Lottery. There were 2 $1 million winners. One of those tickets was sold right here in Anoka County. On Wednesday, Robert Hans of Elk River claimed his $1 million prize. He purchased his ticket at the Holiday on Ramsey Boulevard. The second winning ticket was sold in Blue Earth County and was claimed by a Waterville couple last week. Mercy Hospital welcomed its first baby of 2015 during the wee hours of New Year's Day. Faith Mora Okari came into the world at 1:14 a.m., weighing in at 8 pounds, 3 ounces, and stretching out 20.5 inches. This is the 5th child for proud parents George Okari and Zipporah Merendai.
The new year also means the kickoff of the annual dessert and coffee concert series.
Well, it's gonna be okay. It's gonna be all right.
The country sounds of the group Gravel Roads filled the air at the Coon Rapids City Center on Thursday night. Their lyrics are actually rooted in personal experience. The group released its debut CD last summer. This was the first of 4 concerts sponsored by the Coon Rapids Arts Commission. The concert series continues on February 12th with Straighten Up and Fly Right. That's an unforgettable tribute to Nat King Cole. On March 19th, Lachlan Road plays its Celtic tunes, and on April 9th, it's the 50s sounds of the Holy Rockarollas. The concerts begin at 7 p.m. in the Civic Center. The admission fee includes dessert and a beverage.
The final installment in the action trilogy Taken hits the big screen this weekend. Howie Shapiro has a preview in this week's Now Showing.
Lenny?
Sir, back away now!
I didn't do this.
Put your hands up, now!
Wanted for murder. Suspect's name, Brian Mills.
Taken 3. Ex-government operative Brian Mills is framed for a murder and flees. With the CIA, FBI, and police all in hot pursuit, Mills brings out his particular set of skills to find the true killer and clear his name.
They're all gonna come for you. They'll find you, and they'll stop you. Good luck.
I'm Howie Shapiro, and that's what's showing.
All right. Thanks, Howie. Yes.
All right, and thank you for watching. Be sure to join us again next week.